Hello there. It's an honour to be asked to deliver a eulogy, however it's risky. If you do it well, you'll feel proud of yourself. If you screw up, you'll scar yourself for life. I know, it happened to me when I was 17 years old. In this video, you'll learn the expert strategies that you need to deliver a polished, stress-free, professional result. This video actually is in two parts. This particular video is on how to write the eulogy, and on my channel you'll find one on how to deliver the eulogy, two separate items. I'm Martin Moroney, leading funeral director here in Sydney, Australia. I've heard lots of eulogies. My background is in behavioural science, and for years I taught presenting skills to corporate executives. I have an expert knowledge on how to design and deliver a presentation. And the eulogy you're about to write is actually a presentation about the deceased. The benefits of hanging into the end of this video is that by the end you'll have the how-to skills and the strategies you need for success, a stress-free, winning eulogy. Let's go. Having a conversation without an outcome is like travelling without a destination. Clarity leads to power. Get clear about the outcome of your eulogy and what your eulogy has to deliver at the funeral service. The word eulogy comes from the Greek word eulogia, which means praise. A eulogy is a speech that praises someone highly, a tribute to someone who's just died. Wow. Decide what style of eulogy you're going to deliver. What would be suitable for the occasion? Your eulogy is about the deceased, not about you. It's not about what you thought of them and your personal stories. It's about their achievements and the legacy that they left behind them. Insights and stories are usually a feature of what other speakers are going to say at the funeral. However, it's lovely to include your personal insights to illustrate a feature of the deceased behaviour and achievements that you want to illustrate. But you'll have to decide where the balance point lies. If there are no other speakers, yes, include more personal insights and stories. A eulogy speech is usually about 5 to 10 minutes. If you're the only speaker at the ceremony and you rush through in 2 minutes, people who've made a big effort to attend will wonder what happened, and they'll feel a bit cheated that the funeral ceremony had little content. On the other hand, if there are other speakers giving their personal tributes, you'll probably deliver a eulogy which is a chronology with personal tributes from you and quotations you gathered from people who are not speaking during the funeral service. More about that later. Generate great content for your eulogy. Have a look at the deceased Facebook page to get a sense of how they depicted themselves to the world. Call family members and tell them that you're delivering a eulogy for the deceased and you want to get some dates and you want to say something about their achievements and what made them special. And any personal stories that will illustrate what you're going to say. Get quotations from family, friends, and even enemies. Get their permission for you to quote them. Make a post-it note for each piece of information. You're probably going to have a slideshow during the funeral, so whilst you're at it, get people to scan photos of the deceased and email the scans with a note of the date and the occasion depicted in the photo. Ask them if they got any videos on their cell phones. You will be amazed at some of the photos they send you. It's very elegant if the pictures in the slideshow illustrate some of the topics you've mentioned in your eulogy. Assemble your data. Stick all the post-it notes on a wall or on a large piece of paper and organise the post-it notes in chronological order. You'll notice that themes may emerge, which is good. Discard the post-it notes that don't fit or not up to standard or a theme that you don't want to explore. The post-it notes are now in a mind map of what you're going to say. You have all the material you need to write a terrific eulogy. Get yourself off to a flying start and plan a strong start. Your eulogy will paint a picture in the minds of the audience. To present your picture, you'll need to put it in a frame. So you must frame up your eulogy, as they say in presenting school, before you start painting your picture. So here are some professional ways to start. A eulogy is a speech that praises someone highly, a tribute to someone who's just died. Today I'm charged with the responsibility of delivering Uncle Joe's eulogy. It's a daunting task to be standing in front of you like this, but it's not hard to find ways to praise the life of Uncle Joe and the legacy that he left behind him. Another great way is to start by saying, we're here today not just to bemoan the fact that Uncle Joe is no longer with us, but we're also here to celebrate Uncle Joe's life and celebrate that he was here and celebrate the legacy he left behind him. You could find a quotation that fits the picture you're going to paint. It's a good way to start. Quoting famous people is a strong way to start. How about this for someone who had some eccentricities or even difficult behaviours? Winston Churchill is quoted as saying, "I am ready to meet my Maker. Whether my Maker is prepared for the great ordeal of meeting me is another matter." You then say, "It would have been great to be a fly on the wall when Uncle Joe arrived at the pearly gates." Get the point? If you can't find a quotation you think is suitable, then start by saying something like, "Uncle Joe was the kindest, funniest, most intelligent person I ever met." This will get you off to a flying start. Write yourself an introduction and get introduced by whoever is running the funeral service. Did you notice in the examples above you didn't explain who you were or how you fit in? It's very elegant if the celebrant who's conducting the funeral ceremony introduces you as they invite you forward to deliver Uncle Joe's eulogy. They could say something like, "Delivering a eulogy at a funeral was a great honour, and today the family have given that honour to John Smith, Uncle Joe's nephew, his sister Joyce's son. John told me that he spent many happy hours with Uncle Joe, and that Uncle Joe taught him how to fish, how to pick up girls, and how to get out of the shopping centre car park without paying the parking fee." Yes, it's okay to laugh and add humour. Write your eulogy. Use the chronology of Uncle Joe's life as a timeline and weave your story about Uncle Joe. Drop appropriate quotations from others into the timeline to illustrate and flesh out the facts. You could say, Uncle Joe was a great runner. His school friend, Michael Brown, told me that other students at Thomas Jefferson High School wanted Joe to be handicapped because there was no point in entering a running race with Joe if you wanted to win, because Joe always won. Don't get too heavy and don't get too serious. Shining a light on Uncle Joe's idiosyncrasies and funny stories will allow your audience to laugh as well as to cry. You could say things like, "George, Uncle Joe's business partner for 20 years, told me that without Uncle Joe, the business would never have survived. George told me that Uncle Joe used to call every customer mate because he couldn't remember anybody's name. However, he was such a likable and engaging character that nobody ever noticed, and all the customers loved him and they kept coming back." And when you mention people's names in the eulogy, they will feel honoured to be included. Don't be shy to refer to the difficulties that Uncle Joe maybe had to suffer and struggle with. It's no secret that Uncle Joe had a short temper, and this made him difficult to deal with from time to time, but he had many redeeming features that compensated for this facet of his behaviour. So don't dwell on things. It's good to have a few lines like, "Not many people know that Uncle Joe da da da. Did you know that Uncle Joe da da da?" Your eulogy should give the guests at the funeral a picture of the deceased's life and accomplishments. Sometimes just being a good person is a significant accomplishment. Plan to get off stage on a high note. If you started with a quotation, circle back to your beginning. Repeat the quotation and say that Uncle Joe was a great example of the wisdom of this quotation. You could say something like, "Everybody you talked to when you were putting this eulogy together admired Uncle Joe." And if you get completely stuck, say something like, "Uncle Joe left his mark on the world and left his mark on the hearts of the people he's left behind. The world is a better place because he was here, and he will be dearly missed." Get ready to practice and deliver your eulogy. Type it out double-spaced. It's best if you have this on a word processor so you can move blocks of type around. Double spacing allows you to print it and make corrections on the printed copy. It's essential to read your eulogy out loud, not just in your head. If you skip through it in your head, you'll skip over the things that will trip you up, even flatten you when you attempt to read them out loud. Read the eulogy out loud from start to finish, not stopping to make corrections. Time the reading. 10 minutes or under is good. You may be surprised at how long it takes to read a page of type. Taken at presentation speed, it's about 3 minutes a page. You will learn in the accompanying video on how to deliver the eulogy that most people tend to speak too quickly, so proceed at a more considered pace. Go back through the eulogy and edit and correct the things that you notice could be improved as you read through. Don't get too fond of the things you've included. You may need to really savagely edit out a lot of content to sharpen it up and keep it to time. It can help if you test out the eulogy by reading it to a family member or someone who will be at the funeral. This will be useful if you're touching on sensitive family issues. However, it's your work and you should do what you think is the way to go. Writing the eulogy is one thing, delivering the eulogy is another. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to see my video about how to deliver the eulogy you've just written. To subscribe to my channel, click here. Give me a like if you like this video, and of course feel free to comment below and add any tips that will help others, and of course share with other people. Thanks for watching. Good luck. You will be great.